Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. Before we dive into this powerful episode, please remember to subscribe to our channels and give us a 5-star rating on iTunes to continue hustling. This episode is sponsored by the Transact Card, Align Life, Brain-Based Health Solutions, Chiro HD, Imaging Services, Chiro Health USA, Chiro Moguls, Pure Chiro Notes, Titronics, German College of Chiropractic, New Patients in a Box, Life Chiropractic College West, Pro Hockey Chiros, Pro Baseball Chiros, the IFCO, and 100% Chiropractic. Let's hustle.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 532 of the Chiro Hustle Podcast. I'm your producer, Luke Millette, and here's your host, James Chester.
So today we had the opportunity of interviewing Dr. Steven Franson. And if you want to hear the story about how he became the doctor that makes people stronger, stay tuned. Welcome back. This is another episode of the Chiro Hustle Podcast. Today I have Dr. Steven Franson on with me. We're going to talk about some remarkable stuff. Remarkable practices. Really, we're going to nail it down with the launch, build, scale, exit strategy systems that they run. They call this guy the systems guy. So we're really going to get granular on that one. We're also going to tell his story about how he got into chiropractic. But before we do that, I'm going to let everybody know our big why. Why do we do what we do over here at Chiro Hustle? Well, first things first is the First Amendment. That's freedom of speech. It's pretty important to us. I hope it's important to you. And then medical freedom and family health freedom. They're not the same thing, but I hope that we can stand for something because those things really matter to me, and I hope they really matter to you. Next in the line, we do support BJ Palmer's Sacred Trust and protect that, and we guard it well. If you do not know what that means, go to your favorite search engine and look for BJ Palmer's last words, or maybe search for BJ Palmer's Sacred Trust, and you're going to have a better understanding of this beautiful profession of chiropractic after that. And then we get into a little bit further. We do support the subluxation-based chiropractic practitioner, which we think is really important. Let's not remove our language, our lexicon from these schools. Let's keep chiropractic pure. And then at the end of this, we do believe that when man or woman, the physical gets adjusted, it connects them to man or woman, the spiritual, and that is innate intelligence and universal intelligence. And with that being said, Dr. Steven Franson.
Oh, man.
Welcome to the show.
Man, if that's not chiropractic foreplay right there, getting ready for a podcast, I don't know what is, man. Jim, that was good, man. You just laying it down. I'm in the right spot.
Oh, boy. The hair on my arms are standing up right now, man.
That's right. That's right. I love it.
Yeah, that's like, if I always say, if nobody listens to this whole show, at least I paid the fee to them.
I was going to say we should wrap it up because anything that I say at this point is only going to screw that up because that was just beautiful. That's just awesome, man.
Pay the fee, right?
All the boxes.
Yeah. So your story, man, it looks like you finished school up 96 from Life.
Yep.
What really, I mean, this is going to be a chance for you to reintroduce yourself to your friends, family, colleagues, the people that you help with the launches of their offices. They probably know like you as the person, but they might not know your whole story unless they read your book. So let's just jump right into this one and tell people how you got into chiropractic.
Okay, so I'll tell the thumbnail sketch version of it because the full length version is long and very emotional. So I'll spare you that. So it all basically kicked off for me back when I was a kid, when I was 11 years old. I'm from a place called Woburn, Massachusetts, which is just north of Boston. And Woburn, Massachusetts is famous for one thing. And it was the ground zero for a big cancer outbreak in the early 70s. And they made a movie about it with John Travolta and Robert Duvall. It was incredible story, telling the story of all these families and the diagnosis, the treatments, the suffering, and then eventual passing of 27 people that lived in my neighborhood. And those were my neighbors. They were family and friends. And one of them in particular was my best friend, this guy, Patrick Toomey. Patrick was somebody that that I had spent a lot of time with, went to school together, played baseball with, all the boys together with, spent, after school time together, all that. When Patrick got sick, I was like by his side through the whole ordeal, right? So if you've been through, treatment, cancer treatment, it's terrific. It's horrible. And we went through all of it, right? So the radiation, the chemo, and his general decline. And through that process, it was just awful watching my friend waste away. And I can remember even, at 11 years old, just being so frustrated and confused. His hair's falling out, his skin lesions and the smells, and, he was suffering. It was just awful. It took like 18 months. And finally they were like, well, there's nothing more that can be done, right? We've done everything he can do. And I can remember just saying this, like, is there anything that we can do for him? Because everything that you do to him, he just keeps getting sicker and weaker. And that just continued for like a 6-month cycle where he went down hard and fast. And eventually he died. And I can remember sitting with my dad at Mass General and having this just conversation after, just sitting in the waiting room. And I wasn't really saying much of anything. My dad was like, are you all right? What's on your mind? And I just remember at that point just saying, I know what I want to be when I grow up. And he's like, that's great. What do you want to do? And I said, I'm going to be a doctor. And he said, what kind of doctor do you want to be? And I said, I'm going to be the doctor that makes people stronger. And at that point in time, I had no idea about chiropractic, or I didn't know anything about the wellness lifestyle, the chiropractic principle. But that was the exact moment that I realized my purpose. And I spent the next 10 years just studying the human body, and grew up as an athlete. I got really into fitness and nutrition and just anything that would make a human being healthier and stronger. But I didn't know much about anything about chiropractic. I ended up getting an injury, hurt my shoulder, couldn't finish my season in college. I was playing sports, and my shoulder was trashed, and I was, at that point, I thought I was going to be an orthopedic. I wanted to go into orthopedics, and they basically said, you need surgery, and they had me pumped up on all kinds of drugs and everything. And I was all done. I'd lost a bunch of muscle, and I just lost my identity. Couldn't work out, couldn't surf, couldn't play my sport. And my dad dragged me to see his chiropractor, Dr. Tom Michaud, in Watertown, Massachusetts. And during like one of my Christmas breaks, and he made me go see his chiropractor. And this poor guy, he put up with me, while I was standing there cross-armed, and, I was the educated skeptic. I've already been taught that these guys are quacks and they can't help you. And you know where the story goes. He showed me what was going on with me. He taught me the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. He taught me how the body really works, taught me how the body really heals. And he told me my shoulder problem was, the root of the cause was in my neck, and I had to restore the nerve supply to my shoulder, and I could get my health back. And I got my shoulder back. So at that point in my life, I was getting my life back. So that was when I decided, you know what, I got to seriously consider becoming a chiropractor instead of an orthopedic. And then one day I was literally on my knees praying after church. It was empty church. There was no one around. And I was just like, Lord, all right, Monday's coming. I got to submit my applications. I got to decide which way I'm going. And I need a sign. Right? So I got up, walking out of the church, just as you hit the big brass bar at the double doors, it just echoes through the church. All of a sudden I hear Steven Franson. And I'm like, God. Right? And I turned around. It was my pastor. And he was just walking right at me through an empty church. And he was like, hey, I just heard that you're going to be a chiropractor. And he just walked up to me, gave me a big hug. And he just said, you can be a great chiropractor. That was it, man.
Wow.
And never looked back after that.
So there's many people. I know you said that your purpose is to help more people. And that really resonates with me from that story. And it really kind of ties up like your service mindset based on seeing your friends passing at a young age. And, when you don't also excel because of an injury, it puts you in a real crummy mindset. And that's what a lot of chiropractors get in their offices, man. They get a lot of U's.
That's exactly right.
They get a lot of people that aren't in their best light. They're not feeling great. They've tried a lot of stuff. They're skeptical. They don't know that it's actually the answer that they've been looking for their entire life, from first breath to last breath.
That's exactly right.
They don't realize that it's the answer. I was just telling you offline, I went out this weekend and got 69 new patients in 3 days for an office out here in the Front Range, Parker, Colorado. And people are so interested in something. They just don't know it's called chiropractic.
People are desperately seeking what we have.
Yeah.
People have never been sicker. There's never been more suffering. There's never been more demand. There's never been a better opportunity in chiropractic to step into the light. So your community is chock full with subluxated, vaccinated, toxic, deficient, suffering human beings. They have you surrounded, and they are on their knees every night praying for you. They're looking for you. And the question is, are they finding you? Are they hearing the message from you? Is your market message penetrating? Are you speaking into their listening? Are you connecting with them? Because they're literally 20% of your community at any point in time is actively seeking help.
Mm-hmm. We can track the data.
Yeah.
It tells us.
There's no guessing here. It's just like, there's literally, do the math on 20% of your community. They're actively seeking help. They're Googling, they're asking their friends, they're looking around, they're looking for a solution. And just the question is, are they finding you? Are they hearing you?
Well, the chiropractors that listen to our show, my message is just own it, be proud of it, and don't sell it out. And be really, really considerate. But like we're discussing here, you have to go out there and harvest your community. You have to go out there and tell people the truth, whether it feels good or not. And you have to have those dinner talks that we were talking about. And you have to, do your new patient orientation classes, and you have to do a proper day 1 and day 2. You have to build a relationship. When I get those people in the offices, Doc, I say, what I do is I call this the relationship builder. You're going to come in for these first 2 visits. If you like us, you think we're a good fit, you're going to stick with us. If you come in for these first 2 visits, you realize we're not the right place, there's no strings attached for further care. But I guarantee you one thing, you're going to like us. And then I high five them. We get them scheduled. And it's really fun because I'm like, the back side of the story is the best.
That's exactly right.
Because I tell them, all I ask you to do is one thing. Promise me you'll show up to your first visit so we can help you. And then I get their firm commitment. And then I get them all scheduled and all their paperwork ready for them. And I put a smiley face on their certificate and I hand it to them. I say, hey, man, I put a smiley face on this one because we really like you. We'll see you at the office.
It's beautiful. Great. It's great. I mean, I think chiropractors, I love chiropractors. I mean, I married mine. We have 7 in my family. And I think I'm raising at least one more. My son says he's going to be a chiropractor. So, but at the end of the day, we need to embrace what it is that we have for the marketplace, right? So we have this crowded and confused blood red ocean in the healthcare marketplace right now that nobody trusts anything or anyone anymore. It's what an incredible opportunity, right? It's like the playing field has been leveled, right? So, but you've got to be good. And your message has to be good, and your message is good. We have this incredible message. And, so I used to say before COVID, listen, you don't have to make them wrong to make you right. Right. So sometimes people are afraid that it's like, oh yeah, I don't want to be argumentative. I don't want to be combative. I don't want to don't make people feel stupid. And you don't have to make them feel wrong. Right. So for you to be right. And that's more of like the social jujitsu of don't try to take them over. You just let that energy come to you. And what you're doing is you're redirecting them with the truth, with paradigm, and giving them solutions, right? You're solving, not selling. Post-COVID, what I have to remind everybody is through the COVID catastrophe, one thing that we all understood is they were wrong, right? So it's what they were hearing was wrong. And the reality is we almost got we got too focused on making them wrong. And the truth is that making them wrong doesn't make us right. You got to remember that, right? It's just so many chiros get caught up in trying to make them wrong. And even if you were successful at making them wrong, now we're back to zero. Okay. So making them wrong does not make us right. So it's okay to make them wrong, but don't lose sight of the fact that it's like, you have to make a case for chiropractic, and you have got to tell them the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth, and come at it with love and just recognizing that your message is you're showing up to solve. You're solving their problem, and do it unabashedly, unapologetically, and with love and compassion.
And when you bring in a different perspective from what these people are hearing through all media channels, I think people are going to be receptive of it, but you have to like deliver the goods to them. Like you have to like live in your truth, and it can't be about, like you said, it's not about lambasting them.
That's right. That you used a really important word there, and I think I want to double click on that. So truth resonates, right? So at the end of the day, what the advantage that we have as communicating the chiropractic message is it's truthful, right? So truth resonates. And when people hear truth on a cellular level, it resonates, right? So we call it the dirty dozen. There's 12 things everybody needs to know to be healthy, right? And, those 12 things we actually have in a poster that I'm going to give you guys. So I'll do that as a giveaway. That's like these 12 things, or these are 12 things everybody needs to know, and they'll never leave chiropractic, by the way, right? So it's like we call it the dirty dozen. And, the first one is that healthy is normal. Sick is abnormal. Like healthy is normal. It's abnormal to be sick. And people, when they hear that, they're like, yeah, actually that makes sense. And we've kind of forgot that, right? So it's like, and the second one is the body's intelligent. The body's not stupid. The body's highly intelligent. Your body's intelligent. There's an innate intelligence that regulates the body and heals the body. Your body's intelligent. Your body's not stupid. Treat your body like it's smart. Like ask yourself, do I treat my body like it's intelligent, or am I acting like my body's stupid, right? And then, the innate intelligence travels across the master system. That's number 3. It's the nervous system. Master system of the body is so critically important. It's encased in bone, right? Skull is the helmet that protects the brain, and the spinal column is the suit of armor that protects the spinal cord, which is just an extenuation of the brain. And that innate intelligence courses across that nervous system. So the number 4 is your spinal column is your suit of armor. It's the suit of armor that protects that spinal cord, right? So number 5 is modern life is unnaturally stressful, right? Number 6, it causes a problem called subluxation, right? Subluxation creates interference in the expression of the body's ability to regulate itself and heal itself. And then it's what causes subluxation. How would I know if I have subluxation? What should I do if I have subluxation? And then it's finally, I'm on a mission. And number 12 is I need your help, right? So this dirty dozen is, these are the 12 things every patient needs to know. We created this image, this poster that I'm going to give you guys, and everybody can download it. Just hang it in your adjustatorium. And the way we do it, Jim, is this is the patient education hack, because people think patient education is difficult or awkward. And I can tell you why. It's because they're not setting the expectation on day 1, 2, and 3 that every time you hear, Jim, I'm going to teach you something about your role in health and healing. Is that cool? And then guess what? For the next 3 visits, you're going to point to that poster and say, see that poster right there, Jim? What's that say? 12 things everybody needs to know to be healthy. I'm going to teach you those 12 things. Cool? Yes, doc. Every time you hear, I'm going to teach you one of those 12 things. Okay? Yes, doc. And do me a favor. If I forget, will you remind me? Yes, doc, I will. All right, let's start with number 1. What does that say? Healthy is normal. Do you believe that, Jim? Do you believe healthy is normal? Do you think it's normal to be sick, right? So now the patients are ticking to you. So beautiful, so powerful. And we have thousands of doctors around the world that are changing the paradigm of their patients through the dirty dozen.
You've made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. This episode is sponsored by the Transact Card, Align Life, Brain-Based Health Solutions, Chiro HD, Imaging Services, Chiro Health USA, Chiro Moguls, Pure Chiro Notes, Titronics, German College of Chiropractic, New Patients in a Box, Life Chiropractic College West, Pro Hockey Chiros, Pro Baseball Chiros, the IFCO, and 100% Chiropractic. Let's hustle. Let's put a click through for that poster on our our website. So chirohustle.com, eventually we'll have a click through for that Dirty
That's
Dozen
great.
poster so people can just come by and download it. I think that'd be a really great addition to everybody. We do get about 15,500 chiropractors every month coming to our website.
I
So
love it. I love
it'll
it.
be
Yeah,
a good
please.
opportunity for some chiropractors to get some patient education stuff with no buy-in. It's all free, guys. Come over there and get it. You said a lot of great stuff there, and before we go down the road, I just want to tell you the first remarkable office I went to was Victor Sanueyo Diaz down in Veracruz,
Mexico City,
Mexico.
Veracruz. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really, really cool, man. And I saw the systems in place down there, and I saw the way that your offices operate internationally. I haven't been to one here in the States, but the first one I went to was down in Mexico. It was really cool. And
Victor is a good man. I've been down there a couple of times. He's wonderful. Yeah, we're all over the world. And we're about 25% of our clients are in Australasia. We're in Singapore. We're all over Scandinavia and Europe and Canada. So it's a blessing to see. Like, it's fun to see that Dirty Dozen poster translated into Icelandic or Mandarin, or French. It's Spanish, of course. And that's just with Coach Sebastian Bon, and he does all of our stuff in Spanish. It's just awesome. So yeah, chiropractic is for the world. Let's democratize it.
Yeah, I just had Sebastian on. It was a great episode. Good dude.
Well, Sebastian's one of my best friends in the world. So he's my surfing buddy, and he's just a chiropractic coach extraordinary. He's a good man.
Yeah, I just referred him a patient actually, down in Puerto Rico. So yeah, man, it's a global thing. And when you believe in it and you're on the frequency, life is just really, really powerful. And you shine brighter, man. When people aren't subluxated, they shine brighter. They show up differently.
True.
They serve differently.
So true.
Quality of life quotient changes.
So we were talking about Haley's beautiful baby, and we were talking about my kids, and we've got a group of chiropractic families that all hang around together. There's about 10 families, and most of them, I think all of them are in the Remarkable Practice, and we're all in UAC together, the Ultimate Achievers Club. So we do a lot of vacationing and traveling together. And there's about 15 of our kids that have been together for about 10 years. We call them the Lucky Sperm Club. And we do like 4 or 5 vacations a year there together. And these kids are all best friends now. It's like I told you, there's a big snake pile of all these kids that have been, they just share a hotel room. And now that the kids are like 18, 19, all the way down to 13, all the dads are like, well, wait a minute. You guys can't all sleep in the same room anymore.
Extra rooms.
Like, what are you talking about? But yeah, they're beautiful. And you see them living life at full expression and no interference. And that's what a chiropractic kid looks like. It's just like, I love what James Chestnut says about it, is like, that's just normal. They're like, oh, your kids are remarkable, right? And I'm like, yeah, no, they're just normal. They're not toxic, deficient, subluxated, vaccinated, right? So it's like that's what a normal human looks like. And it's spectacular to watch just the blessing of these kids.
Amen. 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 Well, you were talking about your son earlier, potentially going to become a chiropractor. And I have a title for his first book if he wants it, or a chiropractic kid out there that's going to watch us in the future. But I want to see a book called Born into Chiropractic, and write the story, guys.
Love it.
It'll be a bestseller.
I love it.
And the title alone speaks volumes. And I love this conversation, like the amount of like connection and the frequency that people have, like you said, with children specifically, like they have different quotient, like from first breath to last breath, from womb to tomb, from cradle to grave. What do we want to say, man? But when people are actually clear and their atlas is clear and they're not, like you said, we all are limping in some way before we got this going, but they're not limping. Their bodies are tuned and their nervous system is clear. And there's a direct signal going to all their organ tissues and cells and glands.
That's right.
And their bodies are just like, they're normal.
and let's be super clear on this, because I think too many chiropractic families try to shoulder the bar of perfection. Shit happens, right? So you get sick, you get injured, stuff is going to happen to your family. Trust me, like this stuff happens. And the reality is it pays to be healthy when you get sick. right? So we learned that
Oof.
through COVID in
Oof.
math, right? So, but
Oof.
when you see things happen and all of a sudden your kids just bounce back or your spouse bounces right back and you're like, oh yeah, no, this is part of it. Like
Yeah.
injury, sickness, dis-ease, all of those elements. That's just part of life, but
Yeah.
it's your perspective and your strategies that you've been employing all along. And, I think people understand that the longer you stay sick, the sicker you get. That's compounding illness. But what we don't recognize and celebrate enough is the healthier you stay, the longer you stay healthy, you get compounding wellness. So you see these levels of health and wellness that these kids reach. It's incredible. It's inspiring. And I don't have a cell in my body that doubts that that's gospel truth, that these kids have an advantage.
They do. And, I didn't start getting adjusted till I was 16, but there's also a compound advantage from that point on too. So if anybody's watching this and you're ever considering chiropractic, or you're a chiropractor, you're not getting adjusted regularly, or you're not taking care of your kids regularly, let's stop that stuff too. Let's get people on the tables. Let's get them checked, detect, correct, adjust the vertebral subluxation.
You got to lead from the front on this. You have to lead from the front.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the powerful thing about doing this show and have done over about 1,300 interviews with chiropractors is I've learned this lifestyle. I always tell people I've never met anybody that was living the chiropractic lifestyle that's life was worse. And then I always say, but I've also never met anybody that had more drugs or surgery that their life was better.
That's right.
I go, we might be able to get them out of a situation. But just like my good friend Eric Plasker always say, chiropractic first, chiropractic second, chiropractic third, chiropractic fourth, chiropractic and drugs fifth, chiropractic and surgery sixth. Just because you're going through something, a transition with your health, don't disregard chiropractic through that transition.
That's exactly right. Yeah, there is no referred out cases. They're shared cases.
Yeah. And the worst is when I go through and I'm doing a screen, like I've done so many, like I was telling you, is when somebody comes up to me and they feel defeated. And they're like, I've been told that I can't see a chiropractor, or I've had surgery to my neck or back and they told me not to go see a chiropractor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's called malpractice.
And I'm not a chiropractor, a licensed DC, so it's hard for me to stand in that fight with them and to like try to save their lives, because that's really what we do. When we get somebody under principal chiropractic care, we save their lives. And I tell people this all the time. I learned it from the Everest group, but he would say that if I don't tell you the truth about chiropractic today, somebody else will close you for drugs or surgery. And I say that to people all the time. And then, it's funny, I could even go further, but people are like, oh, chiropractic, I don't believe in it. And I always tell them, chiropractic isn't a belief system. Chiropractic's a healing art. I say, if you want to know what a belief system is, it's the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus. Those are belief systems. I was like, chiropractic works. This is Sid Williams. Chiropractic's just like gravity. It works whether you believe it or not. And then I dropped some keys to him. Did you ever see those assemblies?
I was at Life when Dr. Sid was running the show.
You guys did.
So I'll tell you what, we had mandatory assembly every Wednesday for an hour with Dr. Sid. And for 4 years, the first year we were like, laughing, like, this is ridiculous. The second year we were rolling our eyes being like, oh my gosh, here we go. By the third year, I was like, this is pretty freaking awesome. By the fourth year, I'm like, we're so blessed. We're so fortunate to have access to this. Right? Mm-hmm. So I've been on that journey, bro. And I'll tell you what, Dr. Sid was everything they say was. He was awesome. He was a beast. He roamed that campus, man. And you'd see him every day. Right. So, hey, Dr. Sid, how are you? Near perfect. Like every time. And I say that all the time when people ask me how I'm doing. Near perfect. Start doing that, man. It just gets such a big smile out of people when you say near perfect. They're like, that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah. I never got a chance to meet him. Hear a lot of fun stories about him, but he echoes through my messages when I'm out there saving people's lives. So
he was awesome.
Thank you, Life University. Thank you for everything you've done to perpetuate this future of this profession.
That's right. Support Life University and other vitalistic, like-minded chiropractic colleges. Put your money where your mouth is, everybody. You have to support these schools. You have to not just cut checks. You need to show up on campus, speak on campus, speak into the students that went through COVID. Man, imagine going through chiropractic college virtually. Come on. We all need to just show up, and you got to be on that campus. Pick one campus and visit it a couple of times a year, or pick 3 campuses and visit once a year, but you got to do it. Just go and give back.
Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention our sponsors, Sherman College of Chiropractic and Life College of Chiropractic West. We have 2 chiropractic colleges that sponsor our show. So thank you so much for those vitalistic schools that sponsor the message of Chiro Hustle and help us fuel the future. And I'm knocking on your door, Life University. Sponsor the show, guys. Get on board with us.
The remarkable practice is we support all 3 of those schools, as well as the Australian Chiropractic, New Zealand Chiropractic, and the new Washington Chiropractic College is coming out. So these are all vitalistic colleges that we need everybody to be supporting them.
Did you know that they're opening a Life West division out in Nebraska?
It's right between Dr. Mark Maurer and Dr. Melissa Marley. I mean, Dr. Joel Marley and Melissa Marley. So we are very excited about that. We're going to be right in that neighborhood.
That's good, man. Yeah, lots of good things are happening out there in the cornfields.
Well, we've got to democratize chiropractic education, right? That's the key to it. To have more chiropractors, we got to make it more accessible, and then we'll take it international. So there's a beautiful model that they're reproducing. It's very exciting. New Zealand started it, and ACC,
Barcelona put it in.
Yeah, it's a very sustainable, very scalable model. So it's exciting stuff.
Yeah. Global domination with chiropractic is where we're headed.
Right. That's right. And what we're doing in the remarkable practice is we're making sure that regardless of what season you're in, launch, build, scale, or exit, that you're getting the chiropractic MBA. So the 4th leg of the stool, right? So everybody talks about art, science, and philosophy. And that's a beautiful story, but it's an incomplete story. You know, there's a 4th leg to the stool to be a successful chiropractor is business acumen. Is we've got to teach people how to run the business of saving lives, because when business is good, everybody wins. So, we've got to help these doctors do that. Yeah.
And I think since we're on this global conversation, over a year and a half ago now, we started a division of Chiro Hustle Espanol. And Miguel Guevara is spearheading that movement down there in Mexico City. And I saw where the puck was going, a Gretzky line. And I saw that the trend is turning to the Latin world, into a global Latin world. And people that speak Spanish are so inclined to get care, and they don't have the same AMA stigma as was passed on to the English speaking culture. And they're like, this stuff works. It keeps us healthy and it's affordable and we can do it consistently. Cool. I'll bring the whole family. And I think
it's a phenomenal culture. They make they're wonderful patients,
wonderful doctors.
They follow doctors' recommendations here. They're so appreciative, and they refer like crazy, and we're grooming and raising all these awesome Latino chiropractors. And just out of Puerto Rico, I think Life College has got like 20% of the student body now is just coming straight out of Puerto Rico. And you got awesome doctors like Dr. Sebastian Bonin, who are just inspiring people to become chiropractors and sending them up to Life. And that's just awesome. And that's exactly what we need to be doing, all of us.
What a fun show, man. I know we didn't get to nearly half the questions that I sent over, but let's close people out talking a little bit about the secret sauce of launch, build, scale, exit.
We created this construct to organize the conversation that everybody's been trying to have for 100 years in chiropractic practice, right? So there's 4 seasons to the chiropractic career. There's launch, build, scale, and exit. So launch is your first year out. Build is when you are an established practice, but you're a sole practitioner. So you're like an owner operator. Scale is when you take that job you love and turn it into the business you always wanted, right? So having multiple doctors. So whether it's through partnership or more likely through associateships. And then exit is when you're getting ready to sell your business. So you're looking for your successor, you're looking for a legacy play, right? You want to make a graceful but profitable exit, right? So what we do is we've created systems and processes and programs for each of those 4 seasons to optimize the 4 seasons and then help you navigate into the next one. And we've organized all of our content, all of our clients, all of our coaches into those 4 seasons. So it's been extraordinary. We've got such a great team of coaches. And we can meet any doctor wherever they are in their career. If you're still in school, you get into launch. If you're in your first year out, you go into launch with an eye on build. You get into build, we teach you how to optimize that practice and get all your systems in place: attraction, conversion, retention, team building, and collections. And then if you're called and you want to turn that job into a business, then you go into scale, right? And scale is when we teach you how to have multiple doctors, associate doctors, even multiple clinics, and create an enterprise. And this is really important, Jim, because ultimately everyone exits, right? So there's death, taxes, and exiting. Everyone exits. The problem is most exits are terrible, right? They just do not go well. It's a heartbreak, and it's terrible black eye for our profession, because build does not exit well. You got to go from build to scale into exit, because no one wants to buy your business. So you can work for 30, 35 years and you think it's this $1 million or multi-million-dollar value, and no one will get near it because people don't want to buy your job.
Yeah. I think you said so much truth in that segment there. I think you guys should go back and cut this up and use it for your guys' own promo stuff. But when I hear that type of talk, like, I think about it like a professional athlete or a sports career. When a guy or gal goes through, even say 10 seasons, and that's legendary status in any pro sport.
That's right.
If you do anything for 10 years, you're a legend. I don't care if you were good. You got on the field for 10 seasons. And a lot of times when these people go through their retirement in their 30s, they don't know what to do with their lives or career. So it's a lot of times like a parallel between that thought process of being a pro athlete and being a professional doctor, which is a chiropractor. So by the time we get to that road, the agents have gone on to the new hires, they've gone on to the new contracts and to the new money, but there's not a huge position there to make sure that people transition well, and that they have protection as they retire. So I think what you're talking about, that exit and that ramp out, the off ramping is something that people really have to take to consideration.
Well, you asked what the secret sauce was there. And, ultimately we all have to exit, and the reality is if you've been practicing more than 1 year, you're in build. That's where you are. And many docs spend a whole season there and then they try to exit from build. And like I said, it's ugly. It doesn't exit well. So scale is the secret sauce, right? So if you listen to our podcast, like we've got the Remarkable CEO podcast. I know you've had Pete Camiolo on here. Dr. Pete and I have been doing the Remarkable CEO podcast now for 4 years. That was inspired by our Remarkable CEO program. So we have hundreds of doctors that are in our scale program, which we call the Remarkable CEO, which is to teach that doctor how to make the ascension from the owner operator to the CEO. And that doesn't imply that you don't adjust patients anymore or do chiropractic care. If you so choose to do that, you can adjust as many people as you want to, Jim, right? But the reality is we know this is a big difference between getting to adjust patients and having to adjust patients, right? So, we had 39 associate doctors in our practice over about a 17-year period. And it's not because I'm a horrible boss and everybody quit and I had to replace them. It's just we had this stack of doctors. They got to stay for 2 years. We trained them up in all of our systems and then launched them into the world. So this process is where I cut my teeth on how to coach and teach doctors how to do this. And now we're teaching the world how to do this properly so that it's a win-win-win. It's a win for the owner. It's a win for the associate doctors. So it's a win for chiropractic.
There's so much I love about that. If you guys want to check out more of Steven Franson and the Remarkable Practice Group, go check out the Remarkable CEO podcast. I think you guys are going to love that. And I'll just close out by telling you guys the one thing I love so much about this group is they're God-centered and they're chiropractic-centered. And I think that if you guys get to the end of this episode where we are right now and you hear that, go check out their group. And I'll get a click through on our website with that Dirty Dozen for the group. And hopefully we'll get a lot more people with a free resource there. All we ask people to do is pay the fee, man. Share the show. Go out there, take this and disseminate this out to your network, to your friends and families and colleagues. You never know. We might have said something here that will set somebody free.
That's right.
It might have cracked the code inside of somebody's mind that might convince them to go support one of these vitalistic chiropractic schools, or it might have cracked the code for somebody that's never heard of what chiropractic is before. And we did such a good job of explaining to people the upper level education on what it means to be a provider, what it means to be a patient, what it means to have a successful business.
That's right. And even just that simple tactical thing of like, hey, if you find patient education and table talk awkward, it's because you're not telling people visit 1, 2, and 3. You have to set the expectation that every time you hear 3 things are going to happen, I'm going to check your spine to see where you're ready to be adjusted. I'm going to deliver world-class adjustments, and I'm going to teach you something about your role in your health and healing, Jim. So you're working with me, not against me, right? So just doing that one sentence allows you to spend their entire lifetime educating them. You've repositioned yourself. You've set their expectations and created agreements that you'll be educating them every time. Start right here with that image, the poster, the Dirty Dozen. That's our gift to you.
Well, Dr. Steven, I wish we had more time. I know that we're at the top of the hour, and I told you I'd get you going on to your next thing by then, but thanks for being our guest today. You're episode 532 of the Chiro Hustle Podcast.
That's just awesome. Congratulations on your success. Thanks for all you're doing for chiropractic and really helping so many doctors around the world. And you've been doing it just so consistently over the years. Like we always say in the CEO program, consistency is the new intensity. And I appreciate you helping me serve my purpose, which is to help more people. So thank you, Jim.
Amen. Well, I'm going to close out by telling everyone you're just one story away. Keep hustling. I'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye for now, Doc. Thanks for listening to Chiro Hustle. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.